Have you seen the accessibility options in Microsoft? I didn't realize until quite recently that they were there. And I've been prompted when I saved a document to check the accessibility, but wasn't really sure what that meant, and did some training through the last holidays, which showed me what that can do. So I've opened up here one of my university assignments, and we're going to check for accessibility. So you can see along the top, we've got the option of review, and then we can click on check accessibility. So if I click on this button, it will help us to make sure that what I have here is accessible for students to read. So here it suggests some errors and some warnings that I might need to look at. So missing alternative text, number one. So if I click on the picture here, I've got a graph here that I created, but it has no alt text to it. So I could right click on it and I can change the alt text and put something here that explains what that text, all students by band. And I can add that. I can also click for it to generate a description for me, depending on what I want. So now when a student goes through this document and they go through, they will have, when they hover the mouse over, it will actually read to them what's in that picture. So that's a useful one. So that's one you can do there for missing alternative text. There's a few others there, all the same. It says here, this one, image is not, or object is not in line. You can see where I've written by hand these items here, and it's suggesting that I could align those to make it more accessible to my students if I chose. And then I've got in the other area, warnings, I've got check the reading order. So here I've got two tables, one here, one here. And it's saying, do I want the students to read this one first or to read this one first? And I can open up the drop down here and suggest I prefer you to read this one first. Actually, I want you to read this other one here first. And another thing it's pulled up for me from this document is that hard to read or text contrast. Now let me just jump to, I think it's this one, where I have a graph that I put together as an analysis in my appendices. No, it's not easy to read. I'm not quite sure how I could have formatted it slightly differently, but it's giving me some suggestions here on what I could do. So if I right click here, it suggests I could change the font color, I could change the page color, and then there's other suggestions it can give me too. If I click here on rhyming, it's offering the same. So it's picking up the same few things that are difficult to read because of the color choices. So that's one way that you can check your assignments and your documents that you create for your students are easier to read. Now I've also opened up a PowerPoint. So this was something I presented recently. Again, it's suggesting this missing alternative text. So where there's an audio at the bottom of the page, I could have that with a tag on it as an alt tag that would tell me that, like click here to listen. Or I can mark it as decorative and I don't need to add anything to it. So that was one option here. It suggests that I can use captions for audio and video, which I'll do in a separate video. It suggests that I duplicate the title slide because that makes it easier. And it also suggests that with my pictures on slide 1, I have an alternative text again for those. So I could verify the description. So it says picture containing an item. I could delete that and put Tracy Ash Bridge. Whoops, can't spell my own name. Bridge logo. So there are lots of things here, but when you go to save a document, it will give you these options, and it's worth just spending a couple of seconds clicking through, because some of the things I've picked up have been really, really simple things that would make it easier for a student with vision impairment, hearing impairment, or learning difficulty that are using some of the vision support tools or are using some of the hearing support tools. Like if they're going to hover over different places on the screen, it will read to them what's there. And for learning difficulties students, it will help them, like they can click on it and it will say this is a picture of, or it will read different documents. So hope that's useful, but go and explore. There's lots and lots of new things I found recently that are really, really helpful.